Day 12, day 12, day 12. What's the circumference of a circle with a radius? So here's my circle. My radius is 6, which means my diameter is 12, right? And the circumference is what I want. Well, you can use this. You can use this. It's up to you. Notice that the multiple choice is in terms of pi, so we don't actually have to multiply it. So c equals pi d. C equals pi times the diameter. Diameter is 12. And there's your circumference, 12 pi. Okay. Expressed in terms of pi, the circumference of a circle whose diameter is 14. So again, draw your circle out. Diameter is 14. You don't need the radius, but I'm just putting it there. Radius is 7. And we want circumference again. Circumference equals pi times diameter. Circumference equals pi, and the diameter is 14, or 14 pi. So 14 pi, whatever units, right? Centimeters, feet. Okay. Three, the area of circle is 36 pi. What is the radius? All right, so circle, radius is missing. We know that this area here is 36 pi. A equals pi r squared, right? We're given that the area is 36 pi, so change that. And radius is what we need. So r is the variable we're trying to find. So divide both sides by pi, right? Well, let's start isolating. So remember, we're going from that. So somehow we want r to be equal to something. I want this whole thing to look like that. So I have to get rid of the pi, and I have to get rid of that exponent of 2. So let's divide by pi on both sides. Divide by pi, divide by pi. So this goes away, that goes away, those goes away. I'm left with radius squared equals 36. One more step. How do I get that 2, that exponent of 2 out? So we're going to take the square root of that. Take the square root of that. There's an invisible 2 that cancels that, and that allows me to have r just the way I want by itself. There's an exponent of no other than 1. So, and square root of 36 is 6. So the radius for this particular problem is 6. The area of a circle is 16 pi. What is the circumference of the circle? All right, so again, here's the area. And the circumference, which is the distance around it, I don't know. We know that the area, and I don't have the radius, I don't have diameter, I don't have anything. I know that the area, though, is 16 pi. All right, so area is the only thing I know. Area formula is the only thing I'm going to use. A equals pi r squared. The area is 16 pi, so I'm going to change this to 16 pi equals pi r squared. So just like the previous problem, right? Let's make that look like this. So divide by pi, so the pi's go away. I'm left with 16 equals r squared. Now, take the square root, invisible 2, and this goes away. R is left over, and square root of 16 is 4. So the radius of my circle is 4. I want this, I want the circumference. So if the radius is 4, that means, let me change colors here. That means the diameter is 8. Right? So once I find the radius, I know diameter is 8. So now I want to find the circumference. Circumference is pi times diameter. Circumference is pi, and the diameter we just found out is 8. So c equals 8 pi. It's in terms of pi, so you don't have to multiply 8 times pi. So just leave it at that. 8 pi, whatever, centimeters, inches, etc. 4, 5. What is the circumference of a circle? Circumference of a circle is 12 pi. What is the radius? So the circumference is 12 pi. So if you take a lap around the circle, it's 12 pi, or 12 times pi, which is 36 point something. So, and we're looking for the radius. Well, if circumference is all I have, circumference is the only format I can use. You can use c equals pi d. You can use c equals 2 pi r, and that gives you the radius right away. I'm just going to keep to this one. Circumference is 12 pi, so that changes 12 pi times d, right? Divide both sides by pi. We know the diameter is 12. The diameter is 12, so let me draw diameter. Diameter is 12. The radius is 6, right? Because it's half of it. Right? So radius is 6. That's it. The area. 5, 6. The area of a circle. Area. What is the? So we want the diameter. Diameter, I don't know, but the area. This area here, the whole circle, is 36 pi. So a equals pi r squared. Here is 36 pi equals pi r squared. Divide both sides by pi. Right? Pi goes away. R squared is 36. Take the square root of both sides. Sounds repetitive. And r equals square root of 36 is 6. So the radius is 6. If the radius is 6, the diameter is twice that. The diameter is 12. 7. If the circumference, the circumference, what is the area? So we have a circle. And they tell you that the circumference, if you take a lap around this circle, the circle is 10 pi. Where's the area? So what's the area inside? So C equals pi d. Right, I can't use the area formula yet because I don't have diameter and radius. So the only information I have is about the circumference. So I'm going to use the circumference formula. Simplify, break out, substitute. That becomes 10 pi. Pi times d. Let's isolate d. So divide this by pi. That goes away. Divide the other side by pi. Those pi goes away. So that gives me the diameter is 10. So the diameter of this circle is 10, which makes the radius 5. Continuing now, because I still want I want the area. So now that I have the radius, area equals pi r squared. Area equals pi times, what's the radius? 5 to the second power. Area equals 5 to the second power is 25 pi units squared. Look at your multiple choice. You don't actually have to multiply these two to get the numerical value. Just leave it in terms of pi. So 25 pi. 7 is C. 8. Circumference of a circle. Again, find a number of square units in the area of the circle. All right, so almost the same question. Circumference is 22 pi. Find the area inside. Well, do we know the radius? Do we know the diameter? No, we need one of those. So C equals pi d again. Circumference is 22 pi. Pi times d. Divide both sides by pi. Get rid of that. The diameter is 22. Diameter 22, which means the radius is 11. Now that I have the radius, I can find the area. Area equals pi r squared. Area equals pi times 11 to the second power. Area equals 11 to the second power to the second power is 121 pi units squared. So there is my answer. Express your answer in terms of pi, and I leave it in terms of pi. You don't actually have to multiply it. The circular garden has a diameter of 12 feet, which means the radius is 6. 12 diameter, radius is 6. How many bags of topsoil must Linda buy to cover the garden if one bag covers an area square feet? Well, all right. So let's find the area. Area equals pi r squared. Area equals pi. Radius is 6 to the second power. Area equals 36 pi. And I'm actually going to multiply this one. So if you take 36, multiply by pi, enter, you get that the area is 113.0, actually 113.10 feet squared. That's the area of her garden. So this whole garden measured that. Now, one bag, so let me write this down. One bag, with one bag I can go 3 square feet. 3 feet squared. And if I have 113.10 feet squared, how many bags do I need? Right, that's what I'm looking for. Well, you can set up your proportion, you can cross multiply and everything. If you cross multiply 3 times x, you get 3x. 1 times 113.10, 113.10 is just that. Divide both sides by 3. Right, so the number of bags that you need, approximately 113.10 divided by 3, 37.7 bags of soil, which obviously you're going to round to 38. Okay, so I guess this whole thing is about circles. What's the diameter of a circle whose circumference is 5? Here's the circumference. We're looking for the diameter. Well, C equals pi d. Right? Circumference is given to us, which is 5. Equals pi times d. How do I get this to look like this, right? Diameter by itself. Divide this side by pi and divide this side by pi. So these two go away. On the other side, they didn't divide 5 by pi, right? So they actually left the answer like that. 5 pi is a diameter. So do we have anything like that? Yeah, right here. Whatever units, centimeter, feet, etc. What is the length of the radius? So again, here's a circle, and the radius is unknown to us, but the area is 100 pi. So area equals pi r squared. Substitute what we know. Area is 100 pi. Pi r squared. Divide both sides by pi. Right? Let's get rid of the pi's. We're left with r squared equals 100. Take the square root of both sides. There's an invisible 2. That and this cancels, leaving my r by itself. And then square root of 100 is 10. So the radius of this particular problem is 10. 12. Find the area. We want the area of that circle. We know the diameter is 10, which means the radius is 5. And this one is nice and easy. Pi r squared is the formula for area. Area equals pi times the radius, which is 5 to the second power. 5 to the second power is 25, and when you multiply it by pi, notice all your answers in terms of pi, so you can leave it like that. Units squared. 25 pi, here it is. 12 is C. Alright, I think that was it. This is day 12.